Hey everyone, welcome along to vlog 54. Now then, we're going to start this week off with a little bit of a rant. I noticed today on the Facebook groups lots of people starting to complain again about logging in issues with Bricklink. Now, I've been away for the weekend. I've come back this morning. I've done my orders for the weekend, no problem at all. All picked, all packed, all done. Happy days. This afternoon, I've done some more orders because they needed to be shipped today for a 24-hour service, so they needed to go today. And again, no issue. I've come back from the school run a bit later on the afternoon, and now I've got a problem. The system wants me to log in again. Sounds fine, yeah, no problem, log in. But I'm going round in a loop. Let's have a look at it. Okay, so here's the screen. And I bet now that I'm videoing it, it probably won't work. However, all I did, I think, was have a look at my account. I think that's where I went to. I just wanted to see what my current seller fees were, and it wants me to sign in. So I'm going to sign in as Steve P. We get this screen, and it just refreshes back to this. I'll try it again. And then it worked. Wow. How random. How random is that? I'm actually gobsmacked. I'm gobsmacked that it actually worked, but why am I sitting here pressing my account button over and over again? You see, I've gone off the screen now because of the sort of confidential information. Is there any? No, not really. That's just my current bill. Yeah, but a lot of people have been complaining about that today, and lots of people have had a lot more frustration and a lot more issues. They just can't get into their Bricklink account. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Really annoying. Anyway, look, it's the start of a new week. It is Monday afternoon, and like I say, I've done all my orders today. They've all gone out. It's been a really good Monday actually, because the weekend was pretty poor, if I'm quite honest. Like I said, I was away, but the store was open. We were fully trading, and yeah, been really quiet. In fact, I think I got more orders on Brickowl than I did on Bricklink. Okay, but what's the plan for this week? Well, I think based on the poor sales performance of the weekend, I think I need to focus on adding parts. I did end last week just adding about 15,000 parts. This was on Friday afternoon, so after I'd finished the vlog for the week, I finished off uploading all of those bulk parts that one of my lads had counted, along with my dad. So thank you for that. They've all been uploaded. Like I said, about 15,000 parts have all gone into the store. So I think I need to continue uploading this week just to try and, you know, keep those sales ticking along, because it's the middle of the month and could do with a bit of extra cash coming into the business, I think. So yeah, this week I'm going to focus on uploading. Right now, I've got some Technic that I need to get through, so I might make a start on that. And of course, you can see over there, I've still got those Jedi Bobs to part out. This, what is it? It's a Starfighter, isn't it? Yeah, I've still got those to part out, which I've not managed to do just yet. Right, that's going to be the focus. I'm going to get cracking. Good morning. It's Tuesday, and I just thought I would respond to a message that's been left on last week's vlog regarding the issue that David was having with one of his orders. So nothing to do with us, but the comment reads, David wrong to seek additional compensation. He purchased a part he received an exact refund of the amount he spent. He's out nothing but time, but to place a new order for only 3 parts from a completely new seller is not worth it, as it could be over 3,000% markup over what the parts were worth. And I was a little bit puzzled by that comment. So apologies, J Royal 2589. I don't know who you are, but I went back to the original post that David made in the Brickowl group, and If I've not explained it very well, then I apologise, but I think I got the right end of the stick. So David received his order and it was short of these two parts. And when he messaged the seller asked, "What can I do for you?" And David said, "I'd like the parts." That was it. That's all he wanted. He just wanted the parts. And without any further conversation or agreement, the seller refunded, I think it was 6p. No, sorry, 3p. He got a refund for 3p. And then, obviously after that, there was further conversation about what was happening and why the refund was made. So I don't believe David was seeking additional compensation. I think David just wanted the parts he ordered. And I believe, I think David's right. At the end of the day, he's placed an order, and it's down to the seller to fulfill that order. The parts he miscounted and misshipped, he actually had in stock. So he didn't need to place an order with a new supplier. He just needed to send on the two that he'd missed. That's a mistake by the seller. A mistake by the seller that they should rectify. It's not down to the buyer to rectify it. It's down to the seller. And I think that kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to people using Bricklink. And, we've got lots and lots of customers out there that are afraid of using Bricklink because they just don't know what they're going to get. And I suppose when you get a different level of service between sellers, it makes it really hard. But I just think this is basic. This is basic customer service. You've made a mistake, rectify it. End of story. Anyway, let's move on. Because the rest of the Bricklink group, Facebook group, is full of people still struggling to log in. I'm hoping that it's kind of settled down from yesterday. After I finished filming, it just carried on. Every now and again, you just get the login screen again, as if the cookie wasn't saving correctly or something like that. I mean, I have multiple tabs open in Chrome. I use Chrome for most of my Bricklink work, but I have multiple tabs open with various different pages of Bricklink because I'm doing different things. And it was just really frustrating that every now and again, one tab, suddenly you've got to log in again, and then you go through the loop again, and then eventually you get logged in. But let's hope that Bricklink, sort that out, because I think for a lot of people it's very frustrating. And if it's frustrating for a seller, it must be frustrating for buyers if it's happening to them. And of course, we all rely on our buyers. So yeah, okay, right. Today then, what we're doing. So if I come around here, this is my new used wall that I put up quite a while ago, and currently on this side we've got 6 of these Rayco drawers that are all still labelled as per Brick Arena, and this stock is not yet in my store. I've also got another one just round this corner. Here it is, you can just see it there, and that's the one I'm currently working on. So I'm removing the drawers and then creating a brick store file. So you can see some of these are already empty. I've got these to do down here. And I just had a thought that while I'm doing that, I'm going to get them labelled with the new labelling system. So I've already got all my barcodes printed out and my numbers. And as I empty the drawers, give them a clean, get them relabelled, and they're ready to go in. And this is what I've created so far. It doesn't look like a lot, but if I open up Brick Store. Okay, so we're currently at 500 items. Not bad going. 47 lots. Still more to do. Plenty of time during the day. But my thinking was that I need to get these parts added into the store so that I can, reuse these drawers. And that's simply because some of this stock I've already got. It'll just be on this side. So it's just about consolidating the lots down and getting them moved and making more use of the space. Because some of these drawers, they're not full. There's plenty of room in them. But I need to use this room when I start to do more bulk sorting, because this is what I need to expand into. So that's the task for today. I'm going to put the Grand Prix on, have that in the background, and get on with creating some more uploads. Right, let's get cracking. Good morning, it's Wednesday, and the update from yesterday afternoon is that I decided to part out the Technic set that's been sort of sat in one of these boxes here for quite a while. I bought it off a sort of Facebook marketplace deal. Someone contacted me and offered it to me, and I accepted. It was quite a while ago actually, but it's been sat there for ages and I've just never got round to doing it. And in actual fact, I forgot that it was a brand new set. It wasn't actually used, which was a bit of a bonus really, because I kind of thought to myself I was focusing on used yesterday with getting all of those drawers completed. So when I came to actually create the brick store file, well actually when I came to open it up and check the bags, they were all still sealed. So that was quite a nice surprise. Now, I paid about, I think it was about £70 for it, and it parted out at just under 150, which wasn't too bad. I'm quite happy with that. There were some nice pieces in there, including a motor and a battery box. It was set 8109, and the stickers themselves were worth about £20. So, nice part out. It's all uploaded, it's all done. I finished it off this morning and got it consolidated into the store, hence the reason why the desk is looking nice and clear. So I thought, right, okay, I'm on a roll with part outs. Let's get Jedi Bob done next. So we've got 3 of these. Again, I bought these ages ago. They've been sat upstairs along with all the other box sets that I've got for part out. So it'd be nice just to get those done. And if there's enough time today, I'll go back and do a bit used. Now the orders have been pretty quiet these last couple of days, and I think that coincides with Amazon Prime Day, and of course Lego themselves are doing some some okay deals on some sets. There was nothing that well actually no, there was a couple of sets that I was quite interested in, but one of the things I am definitely learning, obviously operating this full time, is the priority for the funds that come in, the cash flow that comes in, is paying the bills at the end of the month. I have a set figure that I have to get to be able to pay the bills, and if I don't get there, then obviously things become very tricky and you have to start sort of juggling money around and moving money, savings, etc., to make sure that you can pay the bills. So what that means is if we have a poor month where the sales aren't quite there, then there's nothing left over to put back into the business, which is just a, it's a simple thing really. I think everyone knows it, but the harsh reality is it's definitely there when you have a quiet month. So obviously with the store being shut, holidays, things like that, it really does have an effect. And I think that's why I've sort of refocused myself this week and decided I need to get some part out done, some used stock uploaded, and just get back that momentum that we had earlier and get some stock uploaded. So that's the sort of plan for the next couple of days. So let's get cracking with this part out. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully that time lapse worked. I've been having a few issues with them recently, but there you go. That's all of the parts now all separated out into various containers. I try to sort of keep them in sort of colour order, because when I create the brick store file, as you'll see in a second, I reorder it into colour order and focus on the colours going in alphabetical order. I find it just makes it a little bit easier to find everything. I know that some of these aren't quite right, but that doesn't matter. So over on Brickstore then, we go to the import set inventory. So I've put in the set number. There we go, Jedi Bob's Starfighter. Now then, there were 3 sets. Condition is new. We're going to include the extra parts because it's a brand new set. But I'm not going to part out the minifigures for the moment. I'll keep them as a whole minifigure, and we will check the prices when we finish creating the file. Saying that, because there's only 3, I probably will keep the minifigures as whole minifigures. I don't know, I tend to think that they sell better when they're a full minifigure. I'm sure there are exceptions, maybe city minifigures, but I don't tend to part out much city stuff anyway. Right, so we've got the quantities correct, we've got all the options right, so let's just import that and move that out of the way. So there we go. So we've got a total of 888 items, 126 lots, so it shouldn't take too long now. But like I said, I will reorder this by colour. We'll start with the minifigures, then the stickers, and then we'll crack on with all of the parts, and we'll get all of this consolidated. Now, before we actually start, what I do need to do, I'm going to try and drive with one hand. Let's just highlight everything. So what I tend to do is I will update all the prices just to the global average. So let's do that. Yeah, and that value is the whole lot at £123 thereabouts. Okay, so we do that. Then I'm going to import the store. So this is my current inventory. We'll go back to that file. We'll go to edit. We'll go all the way down to copy values from document. We will choose the store, which is the store inventory we've just imported. And then we need these settings. So I leave them as this. Comment is merged. Remarks we copy over. The retain flag we copy. And the price we copy, and everything else we ignore. That's just the way I have it. There are obviously different ways of doing it. You've just got to find what suits you. So when we finish, our remarks column will now be populated with the bin locations in the existing store inventory. And all these blanks are brand new lots going into the store. So there's quite a few dotted through there. Okay, so we'll start at the top, and now what we will do is we'll make up the minifigures. I won't put them together, but I'll put them into a packet of all the individual parts and put them away in a drawer, and then we'll start on the stickers, and then like I said, on the parts. So I'll just dig out those parts from in here, and then just add them straight into that drawer. That one's going W14057, and just add them straight in and move on all the way down. And if there's a blank, where's the first blank? This one here, the minifigure weapon. We'll just add that into whichever drawer I come across first, because it's only a small part. So we'll add that into an existing drawer, and then we'll scan the barcode into that field. And that's about it. And when we finish, we'll have a completed Brickstore file. Right, let's get cracking. Okay, so I've just started to do the minifigures, and if I can zoom in here, I started with the Akbar Trooper, which I've now completed, and there they all are. There's 3 sets of them in there. But I was just about to do Jedi Bob, and I thought I would record this because this is quite interesting. So Jedi Bob, here it is. We've got 3. The current Bricklink average price is £8.47. Okay, so what I tend to do is just quickly have a look at the inventory for the minifigure and just compare the prices. And the way to do that is just at the bottom right of the description box is a little link. It says INV for inventory. So if you double click that, Brickstore will then ask you, what would you like to do when you part out the minifigure? Do you want to replace the selected items, yes or no? So if you press yes, this will get updated with the individual parts for the minifigure. Now I don't want to do that because this file is the working file that I'm currently working on. So I want to create a brand new file. So I'm going to press no, and that creates a new file just with those parts. And as you can see, there are 5 parts in this minifigure. A nice minifigure cape cloth there. And again, we've got the quantities of 3 because there were 3 in the part out. So if I select all of those items and then apply the current average for these parts, we will see that the total value is £39.99 thereabouts. So £40 for all of the parts in those minifigures. So £40 compared to, if we go back to the set, £25. So £8.47 each, 25 quid for the 3 of them. But if I part all of them out, I could possibly get £40. Let's just go back. And looking at that, the reason why is the cape's worth £6.60, the head is worth just over £2, and the torso is worth £3.70. The hood and the legs, I think, are just standard. Obviously quite a common part, but just sort of standard pricing. So that's why it's a lot higher. But then I thought, it's all well and good, the part out value being, 15 quid higher, but are these parts actually going to sell, or are they just going to sit in my store? Whereas if I leave them as a minifigure, if I sell the whole minifigure, then the whole minifigure is gone and, I don't have any old stock. So I thought I would just process this in BrickMetrics. And the way to do that is to save this as a file, and then we go to BrickMetrics and we go to the upload. So over here is my account on BrickMetrics, and I'm just going to go to my other screen and I'm going to drag across the Brickstore file. So I just got that from File Explorer. Okay, and here are the parts. So there's all 5 parts. We just need to make sure that the metrics are up to date for these. Now they are, because I have literally just done them, but I'll just hit the button again. Yeah, there's no updates to be made. So this is all current. So if I just zoom in on that figure there, the part out value is £48.75. Now that's compared to that £40 there. So in BrickMetrics, we've got an extra £8. So why have we got another £8 on top? Well, the reason for that is this difference between the global average and the UK average. I base my prices on the UK averages, and here we can see that the torso, which was valued at £3.72 in the Brickstore file, should actually be £4.28, and that's just based on the current stock for sale. It's got no sell through, which means it's never sold. So that's important. It's never sold. The other one, this one, what's this one? This is the head. The minifigure head is another pound on top thereabouts. But it's got a really small sell-through rate, but the average price is £3.15. So we're going in a little bit cheaper than the UK average. Okay, that's important. It's the UK average. And then the cape, £6.60, is now being suggested at £7.85. And again, that is slightly cheaper than the UK average. It's £8 at the moment. And the sell-throughs, not brilliant. In fact, the sell-throughs are the highest two sell-through items are the two cheapest, which is the headgear and the legs. But there you go. So individually, £48.75. So I think, although I just said I don't normally break down the minifigures, I sell them as a whole, I think on this particular case, the difference in price is quite significant. In fact, do you know what I'll do? I am going to create a new file, right, just with this minifigure in it. And I'm going to see what BRICKmetrics says about this figure. So I'm just going to copy Jedi Bob and just create a new file just containing this. So just bear with me while I do it. And let's just call it Jedi Bob. We'll get that saved. We'll come back to BRICKmetrics. We'll go back to the file upload, and from my other screen I will just refresh the list, and then I will drag that across. So this is the file. All right, there's the minifigure. Let's just refresh the metrics on it. Okay, that's done. Now then, so there's the Brick Store file price, £8.47. Its suggested price is £9.90 just for the minifigure. So let's just call it a tenner. So for 3 minifigures, it's 30 quid compared to the part out of the individual parts at £48. That's quite significant. That's quite a big increase. So I think definitely what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these down and we'll add them to the store as individual lots. And we won't do the minifigure at all. If I'd bought more sets, if I had maybe 5, what I probably would have done is added maybe 2 complete minifigures and broke down 3. But because I've only got the 3, I think I'm just going to break them all down and add them. And that's it. There is one more minifigure. It's a gonk droid, which looks like it's made up of just standard parts. There we go. But I'll add that as a minifigure. I'll go and dig out the individual parts from all of here. I didn't separate them out because I didn't realise. But all the parts for that are in there somewhere. So we'll go and grab them out and we'll get those added. But I thought, yeah, that was quite interesting with BRICKmetrics and that difference between the UK average and the global average in this particular case. It's quite big. Right, let's get cracking. Well, good morning, it's Thursday, and just when you think the Lego Bricklink integration issues have gone away, something else crops up. So, Amazon. I don't know what's going on. I signed up for a business account and added a payment method, filled in all the details, got it all sorted, tried to purchase something, rejected, account put on hold. I needed to prove that I am that business. Fair enough, you know, it's a new account, so fair enough that they want to check it out. But they sent me an email to tell me to log into Amazon, put in my username and password, and then follow the on-screen instructions to upload something. At this point, I don't really know what I've got to upload. But I go to the Amazon website, and after faffing around with logging out and logging back in and trying to choose the business account and it looping, familiar story, eh? continually looping round. In the end, I had to go and use the incognito mode on Chrome, delete all my cookies, clear the cache, all that kind of rubbish. Eventually, I got it to go past the looping login, only to be met with a screen saying, my account is on hold. Please follow the instructions in the email that we've sent you. And that was it. Looping. Back to square one. I've got the email. It tells me to log in. I've logged in. Now you're telling me to follow the instructions in the email. Bizarre. I wasted over an hour yesterday going round this circle and then eventually getting onto an online chat with Amazon. Their AI couldn't help. That got confused. I chatted with 2 customer service reps. One gave up straight away. The second one asked me to follow the instructions in the email. Didn't quite understand the problem. So in the end, actually put me in contact with someone I could speak to. So I spoke to that person. He was very sympathetic, but still didn't quite understand, and then fobbed me off to the accounts team and told me I need to wait 24 hours for the accounts team to make contact. Well, they made contact this morning and said, thank you for submitting the evidence that's been requested. Unfortunately, it still doesn't meet our standards. I haven't uploaded anything. I haven't given them anything. So it asked me to follow the instructions in the email and upload the evidence. Crazy. However, this morning when I log in and eventually get through, there is now a form that I can complete. But very, very bizarre and very annoying. And talking of looping, I'm just going to ask this question. Is anyone having a similar issue with PayPal? When I use PayPal through Royal Mail, so I'm paying for my postage, I have to log in twice. It's very bizarre. It prompts for a username and password. I put that in, and then the screen just simply refreshes and asks me to put in my username and password again. And the second time it always works. It's been happening now for a couple of weeks. I just thought it was a bit weird, but I haven't seen anyone else report it. So I don't know if it's just my laptop. It could just be, again, another cookie issue. Kind of get fed up of clearing cookies. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Let's have a look at what we've been up to. So yesterday we finished off the upload of the 3 Star Wars sets, the Jedi Bob, and I kind of thought, well, let's go and do another one. So this is just another set that I dug out from upstairs, 75385, so Katana. I've got 4 of those. Now I've already finished getting everything separated. That's all been done. It's ready now for me to create the brick store file. I've got all of the minifigures all sort of separated out just round here. They all need making up, and then we need to double check the part out value for the individual parts against the price of the whole minifigure, just like we did yesterday. We'll follow the same procedure and get that done. I did manage to start another brick store file of used. It's just these jumper plates that are over here. There's only 3 lots so far, but already 885 of them in total. So that's just another thing on the go. Orders have all been done. Again, another really quiet night. It's gonna make it difficult, I think, this month. But you know, we live in hope. And I suppose all I can do is keep uploading, keep adding stock. It's just a time thing for me at the moment. I've got a lot of things that I need to be getting done, and just not enough time to do it. So I will stop waffling, and I will get on and create this brick store file and get the stock uploaded. Let's get cracking. Hello, welcome back. Right, well, a few days have passed since I last recorded anything for the vlog, and a simple reason for that is I've just been so busy. The store has performed really, really well over the weekend. We had a really good weekend. I couldn't believe it. Sunday afternoon, I decided to pick the orders from the weekend, thinking, we'll get a head start. There's a few to do. There's a few big ones in there. And then as soon as I'd finished picking those, with the help of my wife, we got another batch came through. And again, I spent another couple of hours picking those. And by the time I'd finished that batch of orders, another 3 or 4 came through, which meant I was still picking at sort of 9 o'clock Sunday evening. And then overnight there was another couple. I think in the end on Monday morning I posted 22 orders, which was absolutely brilliant. And that's from sort of Saturday afternoon onwards. Of course, we do try and dispatch orders on a Saturday morning as well, so they'd already been done. So it was a really, really good weekend, and I suppose it just goes to show that uploading means more orders. It certainly was in this case. So really, really good. Of course, weekend, trying to devote a bit more time to the family. So we did have some nice family time as well at the weekend, which was great, and really, really good. So today's Tuesday. So what was I up to yesterday? Well, I've been working on these really useful drawers. These 3 at the bottom now are all empty. I've got the last batch just sat here with the brick store file ready to go, and we'll get those uploaded. Just kind of felt that we probably need to get some of these done. Some nice bulky parts in there as well, or at least bulk quantities, which is good, and keeps that brick arena stock moving through quite nicely. We've also been really busy with East Midlands Lego hire. Now it's the school half term next week. Well, the end of this week. They finish on Friday, and so we've been doing quite a few orders and hires, I should say. Quite a few hires. Lots of new customers, which has been great, and lots of sets that are going out. And I've got one going out shortly. This is the Hocus Pocus set that's going out to a brand new customer. So I've got everything set up here so that I can talk the customer through how it all works, the reverse bagging, the missing piece policy and things like that, which just reminds me I need to go and grab one, which is in the other room, so I'll go and do that in a second. But we take every new customer through the whole process from start to finish, before they pay and before they sign their terms and conditions, and I think that just helps new customers relax about the whole sort of procedure. I think reverse bagging can sometimes be quite scary and don't quite understand it, so we take them through it, and all is good. And that's probably about it in terms of an update. I have realised that it's been a year since we bought Brick Arena. I was checking the uploads, and I was looking back, and I suddenly realised that it was about a year ago that we bought the store. I started uploading the stock. It's in about 5 days' time, which means we must have purchased it just before that. So round about now, this time last year, is when we bought the Brick Arena stock. So what I'm going to do is we'll have a quick look at some figures. I can't remember how many parts were in the original file, but I'll have a look at the current file now, and we'll see how many parts we've uploaded. Right, see you in a second. Okay, so while I don't want to show the original brick store file because it's got obviously monetary values in there, we did start off with 679,692 parts, and we've currently got left 126,644, which means from the brick store file we've uploaded 553,000 parts in a year, which I'm quite proud of. I think that's pretty good, considering the journey we've been on to actually import and physically move around all of the Brick Arena stock, I think that's pretty good. I do remember last year sort of thinking, yeah, it'll all be all right, we'll manage, we'll find room, we'll find a way. And then of course the reality hit when, you know, I started to get the bills from the storage company, and the initial 50% off offer had ended. You know, and then it really hit home that, you know, it was about £350, I think, from memory, that they wanted for a month's storage, which is just dead money. And obviously that's coming straight off your sales. And, you know, I remember thinking we need to get it all moved. And of course, the family were not happy about me taking over the entire conservatory. If you go back to some of the vlogs that we recorded at the beginning of the year, you'll see the conservatory and how full it was. And then of course we had the challenge then of actually trying to get through that stock and organize it, as well as getting it consolidated into the store. We needed to create room to sort of be able to sort it out. But you know what, we got there. You know, we got there, we did it. We managed to find a way, we managed to find a places where we could, you know, put the stock. And of course, you know, there you go, we uploaded over 500,000 parts. So that's brilliant. Just in terms of lots, the beginning count was 14,793, and we've got left 3,592, which means we uploaded 11,201. So yeah, pretty good. So there you go. A year on. It's gone so quick, I have to say. Of course, in that year we went full time as well, so that, I think that definitely helped. But I think if we hadn't have bought the Brick Arena stock, I'm not sure I'd be sat here working full time. I'm not sure on that one. Okay, right. I think we'll get this lot uploaded. I best get cracking. Hey everyone, it's Thursday and it's been another busy couple of days. I've spent quite a bit of time getting some more stock uploaded and working through these really useful drawers. I've still got loads of them left, of stock that needs adding, but you know, slowly, gradually, we're getting them added. And there's another brick store file on the desk ready for consolidation. This one was just a drawer containing larger plates. It didn't have any of the dividers in. So that drawer will end up back in the chapel, and this bulky stuff will end up consolidated probably in this room actually, because I think most of this stuff sells pretty quickly. So it won't need to go back upstairs or anything like that. Now then, I've just been catching up with the guys from Just a Brick in the Bucket. And what I mean by catching up, I mean catching up with their YouTube channel. And the latest video they've just posted is them saying farewell. They are closing down their store at the end of the month. Now, if you've not followed these guys at all on YouTube, they've been on one hell of a journey. And just recently they purchased DNA Bricks over in America and moved into a really large warehouse. And I suppose if you follow their journey, it kind of gives you that sort of inspiration, that sort of dream, if you want, of what you might want to do with your Bricklink store. I know for me personally, I've gone from part-time to full-time. And, you know, this room has grown, it's expanded. It's been a long journey for me to get to this stage. And you almost think at the back of your mind, what's the next stage? How else am I going to grow this business? And moving out into a a kind of warehouse or a converted office or something like that, that gives you that extra space. Almost feels like that's like the next logical step, but it's a big step. It's a huge step. The increase in costs alone are probably the main reason why a lot of people don't do it. And I couldn't help but feel that watching that last video from these guys was that warehouse. It looked perfect, and you just think, I wonder if it was the rent on that warehouse that was the final sort of crippling blow that meant they just couldn't sustain it any longer. We all know that running a Bricklink store takes a lot of hours. It needs a lot of input. It needs constantly sort of updating stock. I feel sorry for them in a way. It's a shame, because if other Bricklink sellers decide they want to go into rented premises or something like that, this might put them off. Will it stop people growing? I really don't know. But I know, I do think a lot of people think or dream that that's where they want to go. And it's a shame to see someone, it's a shame to see these guys close down in this way. So I wish them the best of luck in whatever they decide to do. Now then, what have we got left this week? Well, I've got some stock here to put away. This is an order that's just come in today of some parts for the store. I've actually received some negative feedback today. It's a bit disappointing, simply because the buyer hasn't reached out to me at all. I've heard nothing from them. I just noticed it this morning when I was looking at the store, which is a proper shame. So I've sent an email to them, and hopefully they'll come back to me today, or maybe this evening, and we can get that rectified. A simple mistake, potentially, but I need to get some more information from them. Now then, as it's Thursday, I've got to get New Set Friday prepared for East Midlands Lego hire. So from memory, I think it's a Technic motorbike. I think it's a BMW motorbike. I've kind of forgotten, but I need to get that ready, get all the graphics done, and get that prepared. What else? That's probably going to be it for today. We are working on something else, but that'll come out in a future vlog, so I can't talk about that just yet. Yeah, that's probably about it. Onwards and upwards. Right, let's get cracking. Good afternoon, it's Friday, and a slightly different view today, but it's been a really busy start to the half-term holiday for the kids. They're at the last day of school today, but these are bookings for East Midlands Lego hire that are actually going out later on this afternoon once all the schools are broken up, kids are finished, and everyone's popping along to pick up a set. And there's quite a few going out here. First one is Hogsmeade Village. That was a New Set Friday a couple of weeks ago. Then we've got the new Disney Castle and a Home Alone set going out. So just a bit early before Christmas, but all good. We've got the original Disney Castle going out, Diagon Alley. A couple of sets from the Pocket Money range. We've got the Space Roller Coaster and the Fantastical Treehouse. And then to one of my regular customers, we've got the Police Station, Corner Garage, Jazz Club, and the Bookshop. So a bit of a modular theme going on there. And also New Set Friday this week, BMW M1000R. And I've just realised the set number's wrong on that. It's 42130. But it won't make any difference.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Not sure if you picked up Alexa then, but not quite sure what she heard. Anyway, so that's all going out this afternoon. And I've also got the River Steamboat. Now that's a postal order, a postal hire set that's going out. So that's all in the hall ready to be dispatched this afternoon via Royal Mail. So another busy morning. It actually felt like a bit of a workout getting all these sets down from upstairs in the loft. I think I was up and down the stairs about 5 or 6 times. And some of these boxes can be quite heavy. So all good. A really good end to the working week. So really pleased about that. What that means now for the rest of the day, I actually have very little time, but I think I'll just start creating another brick store file, some bits and pieces that are on my desk, maybe some minifigures, but we'll do that sort of after lunch and before the school run this afternoon, because after that it's just literally going to be dealing with customers coming to pick all this up. So I know this vlog's sort of stretched over a couple of weeks, but if you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Do appreciate all your support. If you've got any questions or comments, just drop them down below, and I will see you next week.